All right, so when you hear the phrase economic miracle, what comes to mind? For a lot of us, it's probably gleaming factories, right? Massive cargo ships, the incredible world-changing rise of East Asia. But what if that whole playbook, the one that built those economic giants, is kinda yesterday's news? What if the next great economic story is unfolding right now, somewhere else with a totally different script? Well, that's what we're digging into today. India's absolutely remarkable ascent.
Yeah, this is the classic story, the one we all know so well. I mean, think about it. Post-war Japan, the Asian tigers like South Korea and Taiwan, and of course the absolutely earth-shattering transformation of China. They pretty much all followed the same blueprint, right? And in doing so, they completely reshaped the global economy and lifted hundreds of millions of people out of poverty. It was a formula that, for a long time, seemed totally unstoppable. And that brings us to the big question, doesn't it? Is that model, the one that's all about becoming the world's factory, is that still the only way to the top? Well, to really get why India's path is so new, we've got to first break down that old recipe for success.
Okay, so let's do that. To really appreciate why India's story is so unique, we need to look at the model the model it's not following. The East Asian playbook, it was incredibly effective, and it was all built on one single core idea. This right here, this was the absolute engine room. The strategy was simple, but wow, was it powerful. It really boils down to this: make stuff, make it efficiently, and then sell it to the rest of the world. That's it. Your country's entire growth is basically tied to how much it can ship out to global markets. So this recipe, it had some very specific ingredients. You needed a laser-like focus on manufacturing. You needed a strong government, one that was actively picking industrial winners. And you needed an all-out push to go after global markets. But the real secret ingredient, the fuel for the whole thing, a young, growing workforce. Now remember that last part because it is going to be super important in just a minute. Okay, so now let's pivot to India. Because India's following a completely different playbook. In fact, it's not just a new play, it feels like they're playing a whole new game. And to really get why, we got to take a quick peek at their history.
So, for decades after independence, India's economy was, it was really tightly controlled. They called it the license Raj, and it led to this stubbornly slow growth, sometimes called the Hindu rate of growth. But then, in 1991, everything changed. A massive crisis basically forced their hand. The economy was opened up and, boom, growth just exploded. And what's fascinating is that it wasn't driven by big state-owned factories. No, it was driven by private entrepreneurs and a really powerful new services sector. This moment, it set the stage for a completely unique rise to the top, built on three key pillars.
All right, pillar number one. And honestly, this might just be the single most powerful thing that separates India from every other major economy out there today. It's simple. While the architects of those old miracles are getting older, India is getting younger.
I mean, just look at this chart. The contrast is absolutely incredible. You see China and Japan, their workforces are actually shrinking. That's a huge headwind for their economies. But India, its working-age population is still growing, and growing fast. And you have to understand, this isn't just a bunch of workers. No, this is a massive pool of consumers, of innovators, of savers. It is pure, high-octane economic fuel.
Okay, on to pillar number two, the digital leapfrog. This is so cool. Instead of following the old path, building a bank on every corner first, India just jumped right over that whole stage. It leapfrogged directly into the digital age, and it's built a foundation that is unlike anything else in the world.
And the engine behind this incredible leap is something called the India Stack. So what is it? It's basically a set of public digital platforms. You've got Aadhaar, which is a biometric ID for over 1 billion people. Think about that. Then there's UPI, an instant payment system that's honestly a world beater. This digital highway, it's done more than just bring millions into the formal economy. It has unleashed this massive wave of private innovation. It's the reason new fintech and e-commerce companies can pop up and scale at unbelievable speeds.
And that brings us to the third, and you could argue maybe the most important pillar of them all. See, unlike those export-led tigers, India's main engine isn't selling to the rest of the world. Nope, its main engine is selling to itself. This comparison right here is so important. Think about it. East Asia's growth machine was plugged into the rest of the world. That's great when things are good, but if the global economy catches a cold, they're in big trouble. India, on the other hand, is powered by its own massive growing middle class. It's like having your own built-in power source, and that gives it this incredible resilience when the rest of the world gets shaky.
So, let's put it all together side by side. You've got the East Asian model, export-led, manufacturing-first, state-directed, and running on a demographic engine that's, well, it's running out of steam. Then you have India's model, domestic-led, way more diversified with a huge services sector, with the government acting more as a facilitator, and it's powered by the world's largest and youngest population. It is a fundamentally different blueprint for success.
But, of course, this isn't some fairy tale. We gotta have a reality check here. India's path to the top is definitely not guaranteed. It faces some absolutely monumental challenges that it has to overcome to actually reach its full potential.
You see that massive young population we talked about? That's not a guarantee. It's a promise. And that promise only pays off if those young people are educated, skilled, and healthy enough to actually power a modern economy. So developing human capital, that's job number one. And the list of hurdles is pretty long. Making sure the growth benefits everyone, not just a few, closing those big infrastructure gaps, doing all of it in an environmentally sustainable way, and yeah, still needing to cut through a lot of old school bureaucracy.
So, with all those challenges on the table, what does the future actually hold? Well, even with those hurdles, the general outlook is overwhelmingly positive. India is on a path that is set to fundamentally redraw the global economic map.
And here's what that looks like in real terms. Number 3. That's where India's economy is projected to rank globally in just the next few years. That means surpassing giants like Japan and Germany. But look, this isn't just about being big. This is about a democratic, digitally savvy nation taking its seat at the head table of global power.
And this quote really just nails it. We are not watching a rerun of an old movie here. We are watching a brand new story being written in real time. It's a story that uses technology, democracy, and its own internal strength in a way we've just never seen before on this kind of scale. Which leaves us with one final and I think fascinating question to think about. As so many other countries are struggling with aging populations and finding that the old playbook just doesn't work anymore, is India creating a whole new blueprint for success in the 21st century? It's a question the entire world is going to be watching very, very closely.